Taichung Tzu Chi volunteers make fireflies with natural seeds and recycled PET bottles to raise vaccine funds. Malaysia Tzu Chi lands its Jing Si Hall at Kuala Lumpur to help the government speed up the booster vaccination plan. 歡迎收睇DaAi Headlines， 我係 Ruby。我哋一齊嚟睇下今日嘅內容。In Taichung, Houli Tzu Chi volunteers used natural seeds and recycled PET bottles to make beautiful fireflies, which are to be sold at the year-end blessing ceremony to raise vaccine funds. The only looking glass tree in our liaison office has so many seeds on the ground. Tzu Chi volunteers used their skillful hands to turn these seeds into the most popular fireflies.
The falling seeds are selected one by one.
The more elliptical seed is its body, and the round one is its head.
With natural plant seeds and recycled PET bottles, you can create beautiful fireflies with skillful hands. The firefly in the air, its twinkling light attracts attention.
Don't underestimate your small power. Our wills unite like a fortress. We need to support buying the BNT vaccine.
But to sell fireflies to support the purchase of a vaccine, making fireflies is not as easy as expected.
The more difficult part is tying the wires. It is easier to get injured when tied and pursed.
Zhong Shufen, who is engaged in computer graphics, uses her profession and reference patterns to make fireflies.
Make a small circle for its eyes, then pass the wire through to tighten it.
She teaches skill step by step, not neglecting every detail for perfection.
The cat PET bottle is a little harder, so we'll heat it up a little bit to make it softer and the body will be softer.
Everyone has their own steps to do and then combine them to become a powerful and beautiful firefly.
Raise vaccines to help everyone, just like fireflies, illuminate others and warm yourself.
In the recent year-end blessing ceremonies, fireflies have become the focus because the master often mentioned it in her teachings that when we assess the value of our life, although it may be as weak as the light emitted by the fireflies, its power cannot be neglected. As long as we keep shining, we'll eventually find the true value in life. Let's see what difficulties volunteers faced when making these fireflies.
The lights flicker at night, like green lanterns flying in the sky, but they are actually from fireflies. There are 61 species of fireflies in Taiwan. They use faint light to guide the way in the dark and build hope. Such warm and beautiful light is like selfless dedication of volunteers. Taking the black-winged firefly, which has largest population, as a template, volunteers in Tzu Chi Neighborhood grounds are making them with clay and seeds.
I think the idea of making the firefly body with seeds is very good. We have to make it shine. We also need to make it shine for a long period of time. But where to find the seeds to make this firefly?
The seeds is an important element, and shape must be long and slender, and the size must be moderate to attach firefly wings. One day, Zheng Shuzhen had the inspiration of using the egg fruit. But then, how to make it shine? Chen Bingfu, who works in the electronic industry, thought of putting circuit board under the seed.
那这个图呢，就是一般我们
This diagram shows how to control the luminosity of lights. After this diagram is drawn, we start to adjust the resistance and capacitance so that its frequency can be close to the range between 1 and 0.25 hertz.
在计算的时候呢，能够趋近于我们所想的1到0.2赫兹之间。
However, the process did not go smoothly. Later, with support of overseas Tzu Chi volunteers, a mini version of the circuit board was shipped, and the lamp was covered with a layer of green clay, and the artificial version of the fireflies began to come to life. The Tzu Chi version of the fireflies are made by different teams, each with its own characteristics and different sizes. If you look carefully, some look like cockroaches and some look like flies.
I think everyone has their own creativity and ideas, but if there are so many bugs on the walls in your house, would you accept it? So everyone tries to do it again.
After many evolutions and improvements, the Tzu Chi version of the firefly finally appeared. Tzu Chi Native Ground has also created a map of the world. As long as there is a country with Tzu Chi volunteers, it will be filled with fireflies.
爱师、敬师、尊重师父的话，所以他们很用心做出来。这我认为是最诚意的供养。
The offering has become one of the highlights of the year-end blessing ceremony. Volunteers fought to use up the light like fireflies to enhance the value of their lives.
In order to enable the safety of spinal cord injured people, Tzu Chi's assistive device platform and Hualien Spinal Cord Injury Welfare Association joined together to provide maintenance for the electric wheelchairs. Volunteers not only check the status of the wheelchairs, but also provided follow-up warranty service so that the injured can go in and out safely without worries. For this daily transportation device, the technicians were checking carefully whether it is safe or not. They removed the seat cushion to inspect the wheels, the brakes, and even the charging system.
I know it must be charged after use. In fact, I didn't do that. But just look at this light. If it is on, then I will charge it.
As there are two batteries, when the green light is on, I don't know the other one is actually not full.
Basically, they don't quite understand the concept of batteries, and they also don't care about its maintenance.
The safety of the device was finally noticed. The spinal cord injured patients were finally relieved.
They helped us disassemble and inspect the parts. They also replaced those which are worn out. We all know this, but we have no way to handle it.
Tzu Chi's assistive device platform specially invited professional technicians from Yilan to go to Hualien to do one-on-one checkup for electric wheelchairs.
There will be no worries when they go out. It also helps them save some repair costs, besides encouraging them to recharge the wheelchair using our method. In case it doesn't work, they need to inform the association and we'll bring a regenerated battery to their home.
For those nearby, they will come here, whereas for those living far away, Tzu Chi brother Xie Guorong said he would go to their home for replacement. I am very happy to hear that. It's really good of them to go to our home for our wheelchairs maintenance.
Volunteers not only inspect the electronic wheelchair for one time, but also promised to provide follow-up care to the patients in need. Taiwan's aging society has led to a greater need for community support. In Kaohsiung, a kindergarten specially brought its children to Tzu Chi Xinxin Long-Term Care Center to interact with the elders, bring happiness and joy to everyone involved.
Tzu Chi Xinxin Liaison Office, which doubles as a long-term care center, sees a number of kindergartners teach elders to do handcraft. These little teachers are working one-on-one in a very friendly way to give special support and guidance to these elders.
Why am I so happy? This is because I haven't been able to interact with young children for a while.
I make jokes with grandma and grandpa. I also teach them how to plant.
Why am I so happy? Because I can plant this tree and do this work with grandma.
We will visit the nursing center and the elder care center. We will take our children to do these interactive activities.
Children are eager to give these elders a massage and care for them.
It's great. I'm very thankful for them. These children are well behaved and very smart and can do many things.
We are thankful for these children to come to our Jing Si long-term care center. We are happy coming together and interacting with our elders.
Elders and children come together to share in this happy day where everyone can give and receive.
The superintendent of Kuala Lumpur Hospital led 32 people of medical personnel and volunteers to visit solitary senior Mr. Pang in Tsusang. Mr. Pan had a stroke and a mild mental illness, so he was unable to clean his home. Therefore, the house was messy. The volunteer team spent the whole morning to help him clean and also care about his physical condition. Moldy walls can be seen everywhere, and there are many items in both the living room and the kitchen. The dirt on the floor forms a dust storm instantly after a light sweep. This is Mr. Pan's home, who lives alone. Suffering from a stroke and a mild mental illness, he is unable to clean his home, leading to such a messy living environment. More than 30 medical staff and volunteers from Kuala Lumpur Hospital spent the entire morning assisting with cleaning.
We help him clean and tidy his home. As he is living alone, we help him improve his living environment so it's cleaner and more hygienic.
Because he lives alone, his home is a bit messy. Everyone is here to help clean his house.
Mr. Pan fell a while ago. Kuala Lumpur Hospital Superintendent Pan Yongqian immediately came to examine his physical condition.
There's some grazes. Let me check your bones. Does it hurt? How about if I press here? Does it hurt? The movement is fine. Just a bit tight here. Was it crushed? Feet up. It's okay.
The medical staff and volunteers returned Mr. Pan a clean and tidy home. Their care and dedication also made him feel the love and warmth that he has never had before.
I'm very happy for your cleaning. Everyone worked so hard. Thank you very much for helping me the whole day.
The Malaysian government began the booster vaccination program in mid-October, encouraging the public to strengthen their immunity by receiving booster shots. In order to help speed up the vaccination rates, Kuala Lumpur Jing Si Hall was activated as a vaccination center again. With the understanding among volunteers, the vaccination process was smoother than before.
For the first time, everyone was messy, as no one was familiar with it. But for the second time, when we do the booster, it's a bit smoother. Probably everyone already knows how to run the vaccination center at Jing Si Hall.
The vaccination center at Kuala Lumpur Jing Si Hall is activated again to give the public the complimentary COVID vaccine booster.
Because of the economy, we can't do the lockdown again, so the government encourages everyone to get the booster shot. That's why we are helping the government to speed up booster vaccination.
Because the recent news reported that the virus has mutated again, I don't want to add burdens to staff or frontline personnel.
In addition to Tzu Chi volunteers, people from different ethnic groups also came to contribute.
We come here with heart to help others. Although I'm a Muslim, I don't mind coming here to help.
Everybody should come forward, serve something. Everybody can give a little bit contribution to the community, and it will make a big difference in our community without seeing any races.
The Malaysian government launched a booster vaccination program in October this year, and Tzu Chi Malaysia once again make every effort to stand up to curb the spread of the virus. A forest fire occurred in mid-August of last year in Northern California. In one of the deep mountain communities, almost all houses were burned down, and residents can only live in a rather primitive life in a trailer or tent. As winter is coming, Tzu volunteers went there to distribute warm supplies to the residents.
Volunteers followed 17-year-old Julian up through the hills where the grass has grown back and the tall trees show green buds.
Just makes you happy, right?
Yeah.
Wow, I see them, they're coming back.
They soon see Julian's mother, Susie, and chat about cleaning up their home.
Tzu Chi has come out and participated in our meetings, our monthly meetings, multiple times. They had a big lunch. You guys brought a big luncheon for us, and it just always makes us feel like we're not alone. Like we are being held up and supported by a whole community of people that are reaching out and showing that they care, and it's tremendously helpful. It makes me almost feel like I'm going to cry, but it really is very helpful. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, you like it?
You're exactly what I need today. Thank you so much.
Moving step by step to reconstruction, they gladly receive these winter supplies and are well on their way to healing.
The Missionary District of Osaka, Japan, is the place where most of the domestic Japanese laborers and homeless people gather. As the pandemic continued, more people lost their jobs, leading to economic difficulties. Upon noticing the situation, the volunteers in Osaka held a winter distribution, hoping to supply people in need with underwear and socks. Here's more.
3 truckloads of supplies, include 250 sets of underwear, arrived at the island shelter. The manager then contacted daily workers and homeless personnel to come and receive supplies.
They're not just receiving Tzu Chi's care, but are also receiving the great love spirit of Tzu Chi. We want to spread the message to more people, thus we made flyers.
Social distancing and crowd control, volunteers made sure to set out rules in order to protect everyone.
As for COVID prevention measures, we must treat it seriously. So we must protect Tzu Chi volunteers and the daily workers here. If anything happens, we'll be very worried. Therefore, we must take the preventative measures seriously.
First time participating in a winter distribution, Ling Xulong was moved by the presence of love during the distribution.
I saw a lot of workers, though they have minimal income. They're still willing to donate their coins into the fundraiser box. This made me feel emotionally moved.
As the winter distribution comes to an end, workers felt the warmth of humanity as volunteers will continue to help those in need.
Continuing our topic of medical care for abused children, today we'll visit a pediatric intensive care unit of a hospital. Abused children who are sent here are so young and battled to almost dying. Child abuse includes physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, and negligence. Among them, negligence is often being overlooked, yet with a very high mortality rate. Deaths due to negligence can include drowning, suffocating, falling, and eating something by mistakes. Follow our report as we learn more.
We just hope to protect the children. Every year we have about 350 to 400 children coming to the pediatric intensive care unit. The proportion of child abuse is actually not high. It's about 10 on average every year. Half of these, 10 or so, are so-called abusive brain injuries, and more than half need surgical intervention. Even if the children survive, a large percentage of them may have neurological damage. For example, they may have cerebral palsy or epilepsy or some physical disorders, etc. 70 to 80 of the patients with combined retinal hemorrhage. If compared with brain injuries caused by general accidents, the death rate is actually much higher. According to our own hospital data, the death rate of brain injuries caused by general trauma is about 1 to 2%. But today, if it is abusive brain injury, the death rate is actually more than 10%. For example, every bed in intensive care unit has a monitor. The data of the monitor above us will be directly connected to our computer in the middle. As long as there are some conditions, for example, we hear the warning sound. Now, it is possible that a certain bed has someone experiencing special condition, and a warning sound will be issued. If it is just a general accident causing brain injury, the average length of stay in the intensive care unit is about 3 to 4 days. The difference in hospital stay with abusive brain injury is actually quite large. Sometimes sudden infant death syndrome can be caused by sleeping on the ground or sleeping with an adult, or even eating the wrong medicine or food or cleaning detergent.
Some can't provide the basic needs of children in daily life. In clinical practice, we often see neglected children. For example, they may be thinner or sloppy, or they may not take a bath for several days, suffering from poor hygiene habits.
Accidental injuries for a child under 12 years old is actually ranked among the top 5 causes of death. At the age of 12 to 18, it is ranked first. The death rate of abusive brain injury when compared to other diseases is 3 to 4 times higher. Actually, this is controllable, so why don't we go to the forefront to prevent such things from happening, rather than doing follow-up medical treatment? Even if the child survives, the result will be less than our expectations. Pediatric intensive care unit faces all kinds of diseases like adults. It will be divided into surgical intensive care ward and internal medicine intensive care ward. Under 18 years old, regardless of internal medicine and surgery, as long as he wants to stay in the intensive care unit, they will stay with us. A 2 to 3-year-old child may not just need medical care, but also needs to be comforted by others. This is some of the work our nurses undertake, and sometimes they will show videos to the children.
In Guangshan, Taitung, the elders of the community long-term care class went to the Guangshan Tzu Chi recycling station to do recycling. Not only did they use their wisdom, but also exercise their muscles and bones to protect our earth. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.